Hey everyone, chess lovers, and welcome back to Chessway. Today, we've got an absolute banger of a game for you. A battle between Roland Paliovic and the legendary Rashid Nezhmetdinov. This masterpiece was played on November 23rd, 1953. All right. The game begins with e4 and c6, the Caro-Kann defense. Then comes pawn to d4, and of course, pawn to d5. But white says, nope, not today, and plays knight to c3. Nezhmetdinov isn't going full throttle yet. He quietly plays pawn to g6. All right, tension resolved, pawns get traded in the center, and white develops the knight to f3. Black responds with knight to f6, bishop comes out to f4, and black fianchettos with bishop to g7. Queen jumps to d2. Nezhmetdinov still doesn't castle. Instead, he develops the knight to c6. But white instantly pins it with bishop to b5. And, as expected, bishop to d7 breaks the pin. Roland castles long. Boom! And Nezhmetdinov, he castles short. King side versus queen side. You know what that means. The game is about to explode. Now in this position, common moves are bishop takes knight, knight to e5, or bishop to h6. But white, he says forget the rules and slams pawn to h4. Here we go. To respond, Nezhmetdinov jumps his knight to e4, attacking the queen and offering a trade. So, knight takes knight, and after pawn captures back, that pawn is now attacking the key defender of the d4 pawn. But wait, knight to g5 hits back, attacking the pawn. But Nezhmetdinov looks deeper. Instead, he calmly slides the rook to c8 first. Brilliant. Let me explain. The queen defending that pawn is not strong enough. For example, if c3 is played, knight still takes the pawn. So realistically, white must play bishop to e3. But here's the twist. He plays queen to e3, trying to protect the pawn twice and avoid any discovered checks. Looks solid. But oh no, this is where things start to fall apart. After that, the knight still grabs the pawn. And now white's in big trouble, forced to give up the exchange, rook for knight. But since there are two threats at once, white decides to capture the bishop first. At first, it doesn't look too bad. After rook takes pawn check, the king steps to b1. Looks safe, right? But look closely. In the real game, Nezhmetdinov calmly captures the bishop. But hold up. There's another insane idea here I have to show you. Imagine this. Black sacrifices the rook with rook takes pawn check. If the king goes to a1, knight to c2. If the king takes the rook, knight to f5, discovered check, and black is completely winning. Or if the king tries to run to c1, then knight to e2 check. The king can't move anywhere, and the only move is queen takes knight. And guess what happens next? The queen sacrifice to c8 check. That's right, forced sacrifice. The bishop must take it, and after rook recaptures, check, the game is over. Even if the queen blocks, she's taken, checkmate on the board. That, my friends, is pure Nezhmetdinov magic. The open c-file cuts straight to the king, absolutely deadly. All right, let's return to the main game. Instead of that crazy rook sacrifice, Nezhmetdinov simply captures the bishop. The rook takes the knight, and the bishop takes back, hitting the queen. Queen steps to h3, offering a trade. But oh no, this is a huge blunder from white. Yes, the rook is under attack by the king, but white completely forgets about the other rook. Rook takes pawn with check. Devastating. Now there are only two options. If the king runs to a1, Rook just slides back, checkmate. So, the king is forced to go to c1. And once again, the king is trapped on that deadly c-file. Here it comes, rook to c8, check. You can block with the bishop or the queen, but it doesn't matter. The king must move to d1. And now, boom, bishop to e3 check, sacrificing the queen. It doesn't matter what white does. Rook to c1 is coming, and that's checkmate. Even if the queen takes the queen, rook to c1, checkmate anyway. What a finish. Absolutely insane. At first, Nezhmetdinov looked quiet, almost passive, but after opposite side castling, he unleashed his true nature, a tactical genius, a monster of creative attacks. Look how perfectly these three pieces work together. If he had lost just one single tempo, he might have been checkmated instead. But no, he turned defense into fire. An unforgettable masterpiece. And that's it for today's video, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this incredible game as much as I did. If you learned something or just loved the chaos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay sharp, chess lovers. See you next time on Chessway.